Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome.
Okay, Osun priest named in deadly plot against Olori Naomi Ooni of Ife roar in anger. If he enters this palace, he will bye Ogüñyãya. Upon hearing that, okay, Osun priest was, coming to the palace to explain his side of the story to the Ooni of Ife. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Dela Ram. I bring you fresh and spicy gist from the source. And still on the royals. How I guys doing? I appreciate you guys so much. I love your show. I do well, my people. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And do not forget to turn on the post notification bell. And do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys so much. My people, is not a small thing that is still going on, no? As we are hearing the information that is making the rounds on social media. They say when the Ooni of Ife gathered his elders to speak about the shocking discovery of Queen Naomi's carved image being used in, buying rituals. What broke his patience was when a name was mentioned. It was not just faceless enemies or unknown faces. It was a known figure, a priest from Osun. His name is Arakuniri Bogun, a man who for years had been one of the custodians of traditional rites in, the Osun Grove area. The moment the Oni heard his name, his anger was clear. He should, he said plainly to the elders, if this man steps into my palace, he will not leave. He will not leave alive. Ogüñyãya will strike him where he stands. The weight of those words shook the council. They knew the Oni did not speak like that. Oni is not somebody who spoke like that. They just knew that Kabiyesi was really, really angry. Now, who is, Aji Bogun? The elders, know him well. He had a long history of service in traditional rituals, especially at Oke Osun, a site tied deeply to, fertility, wealth, and women. In the past, people came to him to perform sacrifices for childbirth, success, and spiritual cleansing. He is respected for his knowledge, but over the years, his ways had shifted. Whisper in the community said that he had begun to accept Daka requests, rituals not for blessing, but for destruction. They said his connection with Queen Naomi dated back to the early days of her marriage to the Ooni of Ife. During her times as Olori in the palace, Aje Bogun was among those called to perform some traditional rite for her, safe entry into the throne household. At that time, he was trusted, and Queen Naomi, being young and new to palace tradition, had no reason to doubt him. She participated in the rite with respect, believing they were part of the custom she had to honor as the Ooni of Ife's wife. But with time, tension grew. After Queen Naomi left the palace, some insiders who opposed her began to look for spiritual ways to cut her off permanently. It was in this period that Aje Bogun's name surfaced. According to the information presented to the Ooni, Aji Bogun was approached by certain palace insiders who were determined to remove Queen Naomi completely. They convinced him to prepare a ritual using a carved image of her face, a ritual designed not to bless but to destroy. And he went ahead with their own plot. And they said, even when Queen Naomi was in the palace, in front of Queen Naomi, he pretended as if he was on the side of Queen Naomi and the Ooni of Ife. Yes, when Naomi was in the palace, she had a lot of enemies. Those who thought that she was not, fit to be a part of the royal family. Those who thought that she was coming from nowhere. Those who thought that she had no pedigree. And above all, the most disturbing part for a lot of people in the palace happens to be her religious, belief system. They believe that the way she came and the kind of impact she made in the palace, they were unable to operate during the night, as in the dark operation was no longer feasible in the palace. And that was something that they never wanted. That was something that didn't work for them. And they were very, very upset. A reason why most of them would never, ever want Olori Naomi. Whatever they would do to keep Naomi out of the palace is what they will do. And they said, one of those persons who would do everything within his power to make sure Naomi stays out or support groups of people who are trying to make sure Naomi stays out happens to be this Ajibogun. But unfortunately, you know, this kind of enemies that will eat with you, dine with you, and then you will think that they are friends with you, but they are the one buying you from the back. This happens to be the person that this man is. They say when the Ooni of Ife learned this, he could not hide his disappointment. It was not only that a shrine had been used, it was that a man who had once been trusted to perform rites for Queen Naomi's safe, integration into the palace was now being named as a participant in a plot to end her life. They only asked the council, what kind of betrayal is this? A man who once prayed for her safe entry is now the one sponsoring her destruction? Is that possible? The elders were silent because they understood the gravity betrayal from inside hurts more than, attacks from the outside. If a stranger had done this, it would still be serious, but for a non-priest, one tied to the throne, that really broke the heart of the Ooni of Ife. Now, when this information, they said there were names that were listed to the Ooni of Ife, not just this Ajibogun. They listed a lot of names and some insiders, and those names from those inside have not been mentioned. But one name that people know came up happens to be Ajibogun. And now they said Ajibogun had sent a message that he was coming to the palace to, explain his own side of the story to the Ooni of Ife. Ooni of Ife, upon hearing this, roar in anger that should Ajibogun enter the palace, he's just going to buy. The man has no right to enter inside his palace. He's not going to condone this, that the man has done what he should never have done, that he had trusted him, that if there is anybody who would, be on the side of Naomi and celebrate Naomi, will be Ajibogun, not to be listed among those who sought Olori Naomi's destruction. Now, Ooni of Ife, according to what he said, that should Ajibogun enter the palace, that he would be struck by Ogüñyãya, that he has left an order with Ogüñyãya to strike him. And you know that the palace is their boundary. Ogüñyãya doesn't go outside like the palace to go and attack people minding their own business, irrespective of the evil that they do outside. The world is full of evil. Ogüñyãya cannot arrest everybody, but if that evil is done to a person inside the palace, like Olori Naomi or any other person whom Ooni of Ife has left an instruction, and that person ventures into the palace, Ogüñyãya will go after that person. Fortunately for Ajibogun, he doesn't live inside the palace. Now, Ooni of Ife is warning, okay? You have not been coming to the palace, and that is why you are still alive. That if you know what is good for you, do not step your foot inside the palace, because all of those that even Ogüñyãya had gone to go and attack, who are not living inside the palace, are those who frequent the palace of the Ooni of Ife. So the palace is the boundary for Ogüñyãya. So if you come inside the palace, Ogüñyãya will not hesitate to strike you. So do not, I warn, never you step here. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.